What's up everyone, Zach Seif here, and today we are going to shoot out all three of John Petrucci's signature guitar models. For those of you who have been around the channel for a while, it's no secret that I am a massive Dream Theater fan. Their guitarist John Petrucci has been my biggest inspiration. I went to Berklee College of Music because of Dream Theater. I have his signature amplifier and obviously multiple variations of his signature guitars throughout the years. But what we're going to do today is compare all three of them side by side. The original Ibanez JPM100, the JP6 from Ernie Ball Musicman, and the Majesty, also from Ernie Ball Musicman. And we're going to see what kind of differences these guitars really have. Please note that all these guitars are completely stock in the same configurations that you would have bought them in when they were brand new. There were no modifications done outside of adding Dunlop strap locks for live performance. All three guitars today are plugging into the same exact rig. We have the Fractal Audio FM9 for effects. We have the Mesa Boogie JP2C with the same exact settings for all three guitars. And to minimize the microphone position changing, we are using the Notes Captor X for cabinet impulses. back in 1994, Ibanez and Petrucci started to collaborate with the original JPM100. This is the P1 variation, and this ended up coming out for the mass market at the end of 1995, if I'm not mistaken. That's the year that mine is. And overall, this is a really solid guitar. The custom wound DiMarzio pickups are based off of a Steve Special and Aaron Norton, and they've been fine-tuned to match this guitar to sound the best that they possibly can. This guitar has a three-way toggle where you have the bridge position, you have split inner coils like in a Stratocaster or Telecaster, and you have the neck pickup. This is my favorite layout configuration because they're the three main sounds that I personally use, so it's nice to have access to just the three sounds that I need, nothing more and nothing less. A few things to point out about this guitar. It's a basswood body. This is a Picasso-esque etching that is laser etched into the guitar. It features the Ibanez Edge tremolo bridge, and this bridge is very responsive. You have a pretty full range of motion going down and up, and because it is a Floyd Rose style bridge, it does have the locking nut on the top. The only other Petrucci model to feature this is the JP16, which came out in, well, about 2016. Now, it's rumored that only 400 to 700 or so of these guitars were ever made, and they're almost 30 years old, so they're extremely rare. They demand a very high price tag, as they're seen more of a collector's piece these days rather than your daily driver. So you're going to be shelling out somewhere between $2.5 and $7 grand for a JPM, depending on where you are and the condition of the guitar. So it's not the most practical choice for everyone. So let's go check out some of the other modern offerings. So next up on the list is the JP6 model. This is the most common Petrucci model on the market. They made this one the longest. If I'm not mistaken, these were introduced in 2001 for the mass market. This was the longest running model in the JP lineup. It remained more or less unchanged for the first 10 years or so of its production until the JP6 came out to mark the 10-year anniversary of Petrucci working with Musicman. So some of the defining specs of the JP6 include an all basswood body, just like the JPM, but it's a little bit heavier because it has the piezo acoustic system in it, and it has a different bridge. This is the Musicman floating tremolo system. It doesn't dive bomb all the way down like a Floyd Rose does, but it still goes down pretty far, and it still trem flutters with ease. The three-way toggle was continued with this model, where you have the bridge pickup, you have the split inner coils in the middle, and you have the neck pickup. You have dual output jacks, so that you can run the acoustic and the magnetic pickups separately through different setups if you desire, or you can run them together. Additionally, since you don't have the locking nut on the top, you have a nice set of locking tuners here for quicker string changes and just to give the string another point of contact for the locking bridge. So the JP models are still in production. They're not as common as the newer Majesty models, but you can still buy JP6s. They just did an anniversary run of the JP6X to mark the 20th anniversary of his collaboration with Musicman, and you can find some of those that are very similar to the JP6 spec-wise. You also have your JP model variations. Like I said, you have the JP6, the JP7, which is the 7-string variant. You have the JP11, the JP12, 13. The most common of these being the JP15, which you can regularly walk into a music store and buy, and the JP16, like I mentioned. And the used prices on these do vary. You can find one without the piezo, which we call unloaded, for, you know, between $1,100 and $1,500 or so, and you can find fully loaded models, which may or may not have the stainless steel frets, the piezo, the shield inlays, usually ranging between $1,400 and $2,000, depending on, again, the condition, what comes with the guitar, and if it has those options or not. Last but certainly not least is the current signature guitar model from Ernie Ball Musicman, the Majesty. This is the lightest of the signature models that Petrucci has. It's also the most ergonomic guitar in terms of where the control layout is. Everything can be accessed with just a sweep of the arm while you're playing, so you don't have to like reach down and, you know, reach for your switches and try to find them while you're in the middle playing. Everything can be found with relative ease. Some defining features of this guitar are the body shape, which a lot of people think kind of looks like a shovel. I get it, but it just kind of makes sense when you're playing it. It's very balanced and very comfortable. The Majesties, just like some of the JP variations, do vary in terms of the bodywood, but this one is a basswood body with a maple tone cap, which you can see here. It's what the shield looks like. So that's a little maple cap, and it just adds a little brightness to the guitar. Other features include the piezo acoustic system, right? Just like the JP6 has. And you also have an onboard boost, which you can add up to 20 dB of gain for solos. You have a push-push coil split, so that your three-way toggle can either have both pickups running together or just those inner coils like before. And then you also have a mono stereo switch on the bottom here, because it only has a single output, and it allows you to have access to that signal split that you would have with the JP6's dual outputs. And that just about does it for the Majesty. In my opinion, this one is the easiest to play live. I have played this guitar on dozens and dozens of shows, and it's seldom let me down. I think this guitar is probably the most well thought out, and its accumulation of everything that John has wanted throughout his years of playing guitar. It's also the only neck through model in the lineup where there's no bolt or any wood that's preventing you from getting all the way up to the highest fret. So you can play the entire guitar without anything getting in your way. That being said, the Majesty does run a couple $100 more than the JP6. You can find original Majesties usually between the $1,700 to $2,200 range on the used market, and you can find the slightly newer ones for $2,200 to $2,600 or so. There's also a lot of limited edition runs that can run a little bit closer to $3,000 or so, and of course you can buy these brand new off the shelf as well. They do have a 7-string model, and for those of you who are diehard Dream Theater fans, you'll also know that Musicman just released a limited edition signature 8-string model in the Mystic Dream finish, which is a multi-scale fan fret guitar, the first one that Musicman has done in this kind of production. One thing to keep in mind with the Majesty is the fact that these pickups are direct mounted, so you really can't adjust them at all. So if you're not always playing metal or hard rock, these pickups may be a little too hot for your playing style, so that's just something to keep in mind. And that just about wraps up today's video. I had a blast putting this one together. These are 3 of my all-time favorite guitars, and I'm super blessed that I have access to all 3 of them. I've worked very hard in order to add these to my collection, and they won't be leaving anytime soon. As always, be sure to drop your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, and I would love for you all to help me reach that goal by the middle of next year. I think that's very reasonable. Until next time, everyone, stay safe, keep on practicing, and follow your dreams.